Scammers continue to prey on people during the pandemic, so much so they cost consumers billions of dollars in 2020. Fox 12's Haley Rush has more on the kinds of scams that are most reported and how to avoid them.
A recent report from the Federal Trade Commission shows a huge spike in fraud complaints in 2020. The #1 complaint, imposter scams. That's where someone calls, emails, or texts you pretending to be someone else. They could be pretending to be a government official, someone from a business, or even a family member. But another big complaint in 2020, of course, online scams.
Life slowed down a lot last year for Candace Sorensen. She retired and then came a pandemic.
Retirement was a hard adjustment for me. So I was very depressed and I thought, well, a new dog will just sort of get me through that.
She ended up finding the perfect puppy online from a breeder in another state.
And I was very, very reluctant to do anything online. But we talked to him on the phone a couple of times. We talked to him and asked, how did the process work? They offered shipping, and so how was that going to work? And he answered our questions sufficiently that we decided to go ahead. We had selected our dog named Elliot.
After paying the breeder $600 on the app Zelle, she says her puppy was on the way.
He would arrive on Friday. And then Friday morning, I got a call from the airline company saying that there were storms and that in order to ship Elliot, I needed to pay $1,000 for a special carrier. I've had dogs enough to know that there was no such thing as that special carrier.
The breeder was of no help and ended up blocking her after she wouldn't pay the extra money. And you guessed it, her dog never arrived.
If I had been rational, I wouldn't have done it, but they really do play to your emotions.
According to a recent report from the Federal Trade Commission, Sorensen is far from the only one. Consumers losing $3.3 billion to fraud in 2020. That's a huge increase from 2019's losses of $1.8 billion.
That is a lot of money across the board. And we are most definitely seen an increase because of the pandemic. Online shopping was increased. The numbers are up. And yes, that is a lot of money.
Roseanne Freitas, Public Relations and Communications Manager for the Better Business Bureau, says it's important to do your homework before buying something online.
Just because there's a website doesn't mean it's a legitimate company at all. You have to do the background research on that company, whether it's via the bbb.org or doing a Google search, but some way to verify that this company is legitimate.
She also says don't click on links directing you to a website because it could be fake.
If I see it, I go open up a separate browser and I pull up that website because the offer's still going to be there. And I want to make sure I'm shopping with the right company.
And lastly, she says never let your guard down.
I think the one thing people need to realize, it can happen to all of us. And a lot of people think, oh, this would never happen to me. This isn't the old scam that we used to see where it was a lot of misspelling of words, bad grammar, or the prince from Nigeria. These come across, they're very authentic. We believe them.
For online scams, the BBB says that puppy scams were actually #1 because so many people were looking for companionship in 2020. The Better Business Bureau says, of course, you can use its website before making a purchase online because they vet businesses and make sure they're trustworthy. Haley Rush, Fox 12 Oregon.